So let's turn to Witkover's analysis of Альберти, and in particular, Альберти's relationship to antiquity. What does it mean for a Renaissance architect to look back to the classical past and deploy those forms in the context of religious architecture? If you think about it, this is not self-evident. What does it mean to take classicism, which is a pagan idiom, and introduce it to the context of Christian architecture? This symbolic aspect is not so much Witkover's problem. He's after explaining how to match up one formal system against another. He begins his inquiry with a problem. And that problem is related to what we call a trabeated system, or a post and lintel system, which indicates classicism's reliance on horizontal beams or lintels that are held up by columns or pillars. Now, one of the curious aspects of Альберти's architectural theory is the distinction he draws between a notion of an architecture of the wall, on the one hand, which is a structural statement, and on the other hand, the question of the column, which crucially for Альберти, and this may seem counterintuitive, belongs to the realm of ornament, of the decorative. And by relegating the column to the realm of the decorative, Альберти, according to Witkover, confronted one of the fundamental problems of Renaissance architecture. How do you define a wall? So to explain this, Witkover offers the diagram that you see here with the following explanation. These are his words. In his religious buildings, Альберти consistently avoided the combination of arch and column. That's what you see on the right-hand side of the diagram. When Альберти uses columns, he did in fact give them a straight entablature, while when he introduced arches, he made them rest on pillars, and that's what you see on the left-hand side of the diagram. Sometimes these pillars had half columns addossed to them, emphasizing their decorative role. Witkover continues. Whereas the first motif is Greek, the second is Roman. The first motif is based on the functional meaning of the column. It's supporting those arches. The second is based on the cohesion and unity of the wall. To explain the latter point, in the Colosseum, the arched pillars may be interpreted as residues of a pierced wall with half columns, which carry the straight entablatures placed on them entirely as ornament. That's very explicitly carried out at the Colosseum. Arches rest on pillars, the column and the entablatures are purely decorative. Ultimately, Witkover's argument will be that in the architecture of churches, Альберти is going to reject the column entirely and turn towards a pure expression of the wall, a kind of architecture of the wall. And he's going to do this by examining 4 commissions. The first is the Tempio Malatestiano in Rimini. The second is Santa Maria Novella in Florence. The third and the fourth, both in Mantua, are San Sebastiano and Sant'Andrea. What is convenient about these 4 commissions is that they offer a neat chronology. They offer a sequence in time, and Witkover takes this chronology to trace out the development of Альберти's thinking on architecture. Buildings, in other words, become part of a single investigation of classical modalities in the context of religious structures.